Since the Taliban took power in Afghanistan in 2021, women have been banned from participating in sports. While some female athletes bravely continue to practice their sport in secret, many others have fled the country. DW has spoken to one of them, who we're calling Maryam, to protect her identity.
5,500 kilometers away from Afghanistan in Albania. Maryam was a very successful basketball player, won national and international titles.
Honestly, basketball is my life, and without practice basketball, without playing basketball, I think I'm getting depressed. The Taliban destroyed everything in our country. Everything in our country, especially women career. Like me, suddenly in a moment, unfortunately, we returned to zero. And now, who can say about the happiness, about the dreams in Afghanistan?
Maryam and 27 other female basketball players managed to escape Afghanistan in 2021. Her goal was getting to the United States. Her ticket out of the country was basketball.
Our passport.
But sport was also the reason why thousands of women hid and erased their identities as athletes in this summer. Jerseys were burned, trophies and documents destroyed in order to prevent the Taliban from finding any evidence.
I am very happy that all the women from my country one day leave that situation. They cannot spend their time under the Taliban rule. They cannot. It's danger. It's difficult. It's horrible.
Maryam finally got her immigration case number. The procedure has started. She hopes that she will begin a new life in the United States, almost 2 years after the Taliban took over.
I am happy to welcome Friba Rezaieh now. She was the first woman to represent Afghanistan at the Olympics and judo at the Athens Games in 2004. She's in touch with many Afghan athletes and is helping those trying to escape the country. Welcome, Friba. As we just saw, Maryam got out of Afghanistan, but other female athletes remain. What is life like there for them?
Hello there. Thanks for having me. The life and what is happening in Afghanistan right now is devastating. It's dire because as soon as the Taliban have returned and took control of the central government, they have imposed a strict Sharia law on women and banned women from playing sports. They did not only ban women's sports, they also imposed strict punishment for women athletes who are seen or caught if they are seen in any sports activities. Everybody's in a dire situation, and all the athletes and I knew and I'm in contact with, and the other athletes they are in contact with, they're all in hiding and they fear for their lives.
Yeah. And many want to put an end to that situation and leave. How can they get out of the country?
They can't, because without having a support group from a host country, for instance, European countries in Europe, they're not able to leave because there are no embassies in Afghanistan at the moment except Pakistan and Russian embassy, and they're not able to obtain visas, Schengen visas or visa for North American countries. So they can't. They're absolutely stuck, and so they remain in a very hopeless and uncertain situation.
You were an active sportswoman in Afghanistan in a different time. How does the situation there now compare to what you experienced?
When I was a full-time athlete, when I participated in 2004 Olympic Games, the situation for women athletes were not great. However, we were at least able to go outside. We were at least able to go to the gym and practice and compete either locally or internationally. So the situation has gotten worse and worse and worse. Sports have become crime for women since I participated. Everybody is in a fear if they're caught or seen, and they have burned and bury their documents, any documents or any evidence that would identify them as female athletes. For example, all the local athletes, they would receive an ID from the Afghan National Olympic Committee. They have either burned them or buried them. So significant changes have happening because of the Taliban's strict Sharia law policy.
Some people think Afghanistan should be banned from the Olympics. What do you say about that?
Taliban should be banned from the IOC, from the Olympic Games, because Taliban are violating IOC's charter, which states 50-50% gender ratio. Taliban have cracked down on human rights and women's rights in Afghanistan, and they have abused human rights. They should be absolutely banned, and IOC should maintain a direct and independent relationship with all the female athletes in Afghanistan, either in Afghanistan or in diaspora. Otherwise, imagine a scenario in the upcoming Olympic Games where the first team that enters the Olympic ceremony will be all group of men under the black and white Taliban flag and waving at the crowds, and it will be all men. How that's going to look like to European countries and to IOC?
It's a bleak prospect. Friba Rezaieh, she made history as Afghanistan's first female Olympian. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.